So reflecting surfaces. So dalawa na siya kakuan. Isa kay absorbing surfaces. Sound is absorbed when it encounters a material that will convert some or all of it into heat, or that allows it to pass through, not to return. All walls, floors, ceilings, and furnishings have sound absorbing characteristics that control the amount of sound they reflect and absorb. If the sound surface in a room tend to be highly reflective, the room will seem loud and it may have a slight echo. An example of a room with highly reflective surface is one of the with plaster ceilings and walls and a terrazzo floor. So, mura lang man siya mga design na yata na siya sa mga pagbuhat sa floor, sa mga para sa mga sa music room, ang kanang ginabot nga og kanang mga kanang tray sa itlog, mao man siya. The highly reflective qualities of an room can be controlled by using materials with a high NRC. Example, carpeting, heavy drapes, and upholstered furniture. Acoustical tile is commonly used when a surface material with high absorption characteristics is desired. Acoustical tile is most frequently used in ceilings, but is also an economical wall covering. So, focusing surfaces. Reflected sound waves can be focused intentionally or inadvertently. A flat surface, example a wall, reflects sound better than an irregular surface, which tends to break up sound waves. Reflection room from large concave surfaces also focuses sound. Sounds near the focus of a curved surface may be heard too loudly. In auditoriums, theaters, church, sanctuaries, and classrooms, sound is more pleasing if it is even dispersed, with no prominent echoes, no significant dead spots or leave spots. This even dispersion is usually achieved by avoiding any focusing surfaces and avoiding large flat areas that reflect sound into the listening area. Ramp walls tends to diffuse sounds, reflecting it in variety of directions. This allows a spectator to perceive sounds from every part of the room, making it seem lively and full. For this reason, auditorium and concert hall designers prefer construction materials that are rough rather than smooth. Sometimes it is desirable to add some anti-focusing surfaces or device called acoustical baffles and banners, which are used to absorb reflected noise. Bouncing of reflective walls, floors, or ceilings. Next slide. So, sa kaning topic, isolation of vibration. Because the structural elements of the building readily transmit sound throughout the building, noisy or vibrating equipment should not be attached to the structure. Equipment within the building, such heating units, pumps, and motors, should be mounted on commercially available silent machinery mounts and bases. Soft, resilient subfloor materials are often used under the wearing surface of the floors and under the equipment to reduce the transfer of vibration from the equipment to the structure. Equipment located in the basement of a building may be placed on resilient mounts and a concrete pad that is isolated by expansion joints from the rest of the floor. Vibration isolation is a commonly used technique for reducing or suppressing unwanted vibration in structures and machines. With this technique, the device or system of interest is isolated from the source of vibration through insertion of a resilient member or isolator. So kani siya nga figure, ano ba mo siya nga kaning dako structure ni siya. Kaning sa baba mo ning mga kuan sa ang uban ginabutang para sa mga dagko nga kuan, ginabutangan lang spring para iwas sa kanang vibrate. dili kayo gauyog ang structure. Next slide. So, isolation of impact. Impact sound is that sound caused when one object strikes another. Typical examples of impact sound were foot, shoes, toys, and machine parts, and hammering When a structure is rigid and continuous, the sound easily travels through it. Impact noise is controlled most effectively by using absorptive materials such as carpeting. By isolating the noise source using continuous construction. So figure 23.9, makita dito ang concept pag-isolate sa mga impact. The introduction of masking or background sound should also be considered, but its effectiveness is limited when the sound to be covered over are loud. So mo ni siya nga figure, oh. Halimbawa ang carpet no makatabang gid siya para sa kanang bagang carpet, makatabang siya para sa pag minimize sa mga sounds. Mao ni siya, oh. Mga kuan nga figure. Makita naman ninyo na. Next, Jans. So, isolation of sounds involves separating, also known as decoupling, assembly materials to stop the transfer of sound energy, building frame walls with staggered studs and with blanket sound insulation between the outer wall surfaces is a good method of sound control. Slightly more effective is the building of two separate walls with no structural connections between them. Another control method involves the use of resilient channels to mount the covering surfaces, thus dissipating the sound energy in the channels. These methods also have their practical limitations for specific mass, as the airspace doubles. The transmissions of the sound is reduced about 5 dBA. So mo na siya figure 23.12. Frame walls with staggered studs and with blanket sound insulations between the outer wall surfaces is a good method of sound control. Mas ano yung mo ni siya nga kuan, baga kayo ang yang pagkuan sa wall niya na gina-insulate. Kani siya nga kuan, kaning murag dots niya siya, murag mo na siyang kuan carpet yata na siya para pangtabon sa katong kuan. Kundi wall yata siya. Mao ning kaning murag wave mong insulate cover. Next, Jans. So mo na siya, mo gyud po na siya nga figure, oh. Mga ang wall niya gibutangan niya galma dubli ang iyang gina-cover para kuan gid siya sa sounds. Ma-isolate gid siya. Ay ma-insulate. Frame walls having two separate walls with no structural connections between them and with blanket sound insulation is an excellent method of. So bali kung pikas ni mga room, saba kayo yung pikas kanang pang kuan siya nga pang silent siya nga kuan nga room. So mas maayo gid nga murag na siya bakante sa tunga. Butangan mo siya space niya, mas butangan mo siya mga kuan mga mga blanket, mga kanang pangharang siya sounds. Kaning 23.1 nga figure, acoustical insulation in a plumbing wall. So mo siya murag foam siya nga kanang i-covered sa mga kuan kay para digid siya makalusot ang sound. Next, Jans. Just next figure or next slide. So isolation of sound. Sound masking is the addition of natural or artificial sound of a different frequency into an environment to to mask or cover up noise. Sound masking reduces or eliminates awareness of existing noise in a specific area. It can make a work environment more comfortable and more productive by creating speech privacy and making workers less distracted. So, kagaya ng mga recording rooms nga ana, mo ni siya nga diri na siya nga topic no masking sounds include pipe-in music, radios, or even the humdrum white noise made by heating and air conditioning systems in the building. Some manufacturers provide white noise sounds machine and white noise generators. Active noise control, or ANC, also known as active noise reduction or anti-noise, is a method of reducing unwanted sound through sound energy cancellation. In its simplest form, a one-dimensional ANC system uses a microphone connected to electronic circuitry that recognizes the unwanted sound and a speaker that generates an anti-noise sound wave resulting in destructive interference which cancels out the noise. Next, Jans. So, mara ito na akong report. Salamat sa paminaw. Tawa ko, say.